It's been more than 2 weeks since Governor Greg Abbott called a second special legislative session. And for the first time, the Texas House has enough lawmakers to reach quorum and begin conducting official business. We're getting a live look right there at the Texas House, gaveling in just moments ago. Over the weekend, 3 House Democrats returning to the chamber floor. 25 News anchor Naya Gonzalez is at the Capitol building tonight. Naya, this has been a long time since both houses have met a quorum.
That's right, Todd. House Democrats, they were able to hold out and keep the legislation from passing for about 6 weeks. And as you just mentioned, House Democrats, they returned to the Capitol on Thursday, 3 of them to be exact, allowing the legislative process to restart again. But keep in mind, House Democrats, they fled the state, going to D.C. to prevent a vote on several bills on the agenda, especially that controversial elections integrity bill, that all happening during the first special session throughout the month of July. The House Democrats returning to the chamber has really created a split, with some Democrats openly criticizing their fellow party members. We have team coverage here in Austin from the state capitol discussing what is on this agenda. I want to first head out to Leah McNeil. She is live here from the state capitol to explain where we are and how the House will move forward. Leah?
When to put it all simply, it just means that they're getting back to work. The House Representatives actually hitting the ground running today with 4 committees, all on controversial agenda items. That voting integrity bill actually started a committee at 8 a.m. this morning and had to wrap up early so that way they could get down to chambers at 4, where they gaveled in just a few moments ago and actually getting to work already. Now, I've been here at the Capitol all day talking to everyday Texans and legislators, of course. Now, most of the people I have spoken to said that they are glad to see things getting back in action, but say it could have happened much sooner, and are disappointed that some Democrats are still over in D.C. Now, I did get a chance to speak with the ACLU of Texas, who says they applaud the quorum break and says that they believe that the items on the agenda are just a political tool that Republicans are using and do not address any of the major issues Texans face, begging the question as to if we could see a 3rd special session on the horizon.
If we need to have a 3rd special session, Governor Abbott will no doubt convene a 3rd special session. In fact, in 1989, we had 6 special sessions convened by then Governor William Clements. So it certainly is not unprecedented to have 3.
Well, Governor Abbott already stating that he plans to continue to call special sessions until that election integrity bill is passed. Now, the deadline for this 2nd special session is September 5th, so we'll just have to wait and see as everything unravels. Reporting live in Austin, Leah McNeil, 25 News. Back to you, Naya.
Leah, thank you. During the first special session, there were 11 items on the agenda. Again, because the House chamber did not have quorum, nothing could be discussed. So those 11 items will be on this session's agenda, including 6 new items. So that includes federal COVID relief spending, legislation for public K-12 education during the pandemic, modifying the filing periods and election dates for primary elections, reforming laws regarding radioactive waste, legislation about employment, and then lastly, legislation about quorum requirements. Other items from the first session include bail reform, social media censorship, legislative funding, critical race theory, and transgender youth in sports. One of the most controversial items on the agenda, and the reason House Democrats fled the state to go to D.C., is that elections integrity bill. Republicans say the bill is meant to, quote, secure election integrity, make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. Democrats say this bill will create voter suppression. If it's passed, it would give Texas some of the strictest voting laws in the nation. Other controversial bills that did pass the Senate, they will make their way through the House floor, are the transgender youth in sports bill and the elections integrity bill. So now I want to bring in Austin Walker. He is also here live in Austin to discuss more about this bill. Austin.
These bills have people on both sides of the aisle continuously speaking out, including one about the hotly contentious election reform or integrity bill, many comparing that to a stoplight. Now, Republicans are wanting to go full steam ahead with the bill, while others are simply saying, please slow down or stop it altogether. Reporting tonight from the Texas State Capitol, Austin Walker, 25 News.
Austin, thank you. Now we are continuing to track other committee hearings that happened throughout the day. Earlier this morning, as part of the Constitutional Rights and Remedies Committee, lawmakers were discussing the social media censorship bill that essentially blocks social media sites from banning their users for what they post online. And just a short while ago, the Appropriations Committee talking about the funding for the legislature and the 13th check for retired teachers. Now, the legislature is set to reconvene at least one more time this year. The chambers will have to come together to redraw district maps now that the Census Bureau released its data. The date for that session has not yet been announced. There are just 2 weeks left in this special session. There's about set to end September 5th, but Governor Greg Abbott, he has said that he will call session after session if the bills that he once passed do not get passed. So we, of course, will continue tracking the story, continue tracking this session right here and online at kxxv.com. Todd, back to you.